Hey everyone, and welcome to another Marks & Crafts figure review, and today I'm continuing directly off of the previous one, the 7 Deadly Sins review. As you can see, it's pretty much the exact same shot as we left it at, and in fact I'm recording it about like a minute after that. And as I said in that previous video, today I'm going to be looking at the Bun figure, and as you can tell, because these are all sort of in scale with each other, the Bun is noticeably taller than the other two. And should pair with them quite nicely. So let's crack them open and have a look. Now I'll quickly have a look at him out of the box, but not out of his plastic. Now he does stand quite tall, as we already saw. The pose looks weird from the front, but you're not meant to see it from the front, you're meant to see it more like that. So he should look fine out of the box. Detail wise, he is looking quite good. There was something that I noticed before recording this review, which I will focus in on like a hawk. As you can probably tell from my previous reviews, I like to nitpick, but this one is quite a major nitpick, and it will require me to show promo images of the actual figurine, so this will be one of the more interesting reviews, I feel. So let's crack him out of here. Now, here's Bun in all his glory, and I hope you can tell from this video, he looks fantastic. The high gloss of his leather jacket is amazing. It's reflecting the light so perfectly. It's just a fantastic detail job. From a distance, the little like bolts on his jacket are looking great as well. Skin tone's spot on, little details are looking great, but there is one major issue with this figure, and you need to get in close to see it. Now, one of Bun's defining traits is the scar that Meliodas left on him, which is the only scar that refuses to heal, and it's a cool little story beat and things like that. One thing that I noticed, the scar is meant to reach down to his neck, and very obviously is not there. No matter how you look at it, it does not reach past his chin. It doesn't even, it reaches a little bit on his chin, but it doesn't reach past his chin onto his neck, which it very much has to, for the actual accuracy of the figure. Now, what I noticed when I was looking at promo images, because I noticed this issue straight away, what I noticed in promo images, which I will put up on the side, hopefully around here you'll see the promo image pop up, it did have the scar, and it looks like that was just a very clear omission. They decided just not to have it, which is weird. I am keen to see other people's Buns. Initially I thought it was just mine, but I did see photos of someone else's and again didn't have it, so I'm guessing it was just they decided to ditch it, which is weird because I do think it's like the key defining trait of his face. Like, you do have it on his face, which is fine, but it just seems weird that it doesn't reach. It's like it just stops part way, which is just, it's a bit strange, and it may very well be the nitpick that breaks this, because from what I can tell, literally everything else is perfect. Beautiful, like, seam down the back of the jacket, nice folds in it, the high gloss finish, all these little silver bits like painted perfectly, little crack in his pants, there's nice folds in there, all these great details. These nice matte shoes to go with it, stands tall, stands at an angle, his hands halfway in his pockets, nice great fold in his clothes, just it looks like actual leather, which is amazing, and it reflects the light so perfectly, which makes it even better that I've got this ring light shining light on him so you can see just how great he looks in person. The angle of his face is fine. It makes him look a little bit balding like that, but if I tilt him like that, you can see his hair's pretty accurate to the series, especially there. This is one of those figures where it only looks good from one angle and one angle only, because it looks a bit weird anywhere else. If you look at him front on, he looks very pervy. But if you look at him like that, he's that sort of like cool, creepy, don't know what he's going to do sort of character that Ban is. The base, look, I'm not a fan of the hexagon bases. I don't mind the bright red for Ban. I think that suits him pretty well. Unfortunately, doesn't suit him for the rest of the cast, because Meliodas has got this piss yellow base and Elizabeth has got this purple base. So when you put them together and look at their bases, they really don't match. Unfortunately, they just don't look good like that. The figures themselves look great, and you can see a nice little size comparison of them all just here. But yes, the bases, I don't know what they were thinking. It looks like weird Power Rangers colours. But other than that, look, they are very good figures. I'm not a fan of that base. I'm also a little disappointed that I can't, like with these hexagon bases, because in my mind you're meant to sort of sort them all together, that saves space and things like that. The optimal viewing location of Meliodas and Ban is front on, that's perfectly fine. The optimal viewing location of Elizabeth is like that. So while they look great like that, when you look at the bases, they look a little bit odd. Maybe if I play around with them a little bit, like put Ban's there and Meliodas is there, maybe that helps a bit, not really. But yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, look, consistency wise, Ban and Elizabeth are pretty amazing. The paintwork that is there is pretty perfect. Why does Ban look fine like that now? I'm confused. Is this just how I've got the camera angle? Okay, ignore what I said before about the optimal viewing angle. Anyway, Ban and Elizabeth definitely came out of this the best. Even though he's missing the scar, that seems very intentional. So the paintwork that is here in both Ban and Elizabeth is absolutely perfect, fantastic, amazing figures. Ban's high gloss is just absolutely amazing. Body details and everything like that, the muscle details and sculpt details, fantastic, absolutely amazing. Meliodas has got a few issues here and there, but from the main viewing angle, perfectly fine. A little bit at odds with his face and things like that, but generally not a huge deal breaker by any means. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of them as a series. I'll have one more quick look at Ban. Look, his eyes are piercing. I like how everyone's got very different eye details. He just looks a little bit like a creep, which I guess makes sense with Ban, because he is a little bit of a creep. His hair could be done a bit better, and I think that his hair looks a little flat and a bit weird compared to everything else, just because everything else has got such a premium finish to it. But generally, there's nothing wrong with his figure. Looks great. Yeah, there's not a lot bad to say about it, just the scar cutting off randomly, but other than that, this figure is actually fantastic. And if you like Ban, I would highly recommend this one, especially since there's not a lot of Ban stuff out there. There's not a lot of Seven Deadly Sins stuff in general. Again, the thing that I like most about the Pop-Up Parade franchise is that we can get figures like this, whereas like 2-3 years ago, this would have been unheard of. We wouldn't have gotten Seven Deadly Sins figures, let alone Seven Deadly Sins figures produced by Good Smile Company. So things are changing. I like the way things are going. I just need to be a little more consistent with this line, because they are meant to be the scale figure quality at price figure prices pretty much, or in between. And look, we are getting the quality stepping up. It's just that I wish that there was a little more consistency with some things, especially if there is an actual difference between promo and release, which is a big issue. If you care about that stuff, I do, but it's not really the massive deal breaker that you'd think it is. It's just one of those things of, that's a bit odd. I wish it was exactly as I wanted it to be. But look, in the grand scheme of things, it's not an issue. If he didn't have the scar at all, then that would have been a big issue. But look, at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine. It's still a fantastic figure. It's just a bit of a shame because it's such a good figure that there is that glaring issue. But other than that, fantastic lineup of figures. If it just stays at these three, I'm content. If we get more, that's perfectly fine as well. But as it stands now, the only thing that I really hate about all of these are the bases. I actually like Elizabeth's base the most because it had this nice little thing where her little clip onto the base was the same color as the base itself, which was great. I'd like the subdued purple. Don't like the piss yellow. The red suits Bun, but it doesn't suit the set. Look, that's my 2 cents. You might not care about that, and that's perfectly fine, but I do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you all next time.